legends, I hope you're all fantastic. Today we are checking out not one but 3 pedals from Flamma Innovations. Their Preamp with 7 different preamp models, their cab IR loader, which is stereo and it lets you have 11 different cabinet slots, as well as the ability to adjust things like the phase using this latency control. That's also got a software editor, so you can load your own IRs, which I've gone ahead and done. And then we've got their stereo delay with 6 different delay modes and an 80-second looper. These are all really cheap as well. They're all kind of listed for less than $80 US online. So I think if we can get like 2 or 3 good tones out of this combo, then it is probably going to be well worth the price of entry. What I've done is I've used a software to load my favorite cab IR into user slot number 1 on this cab sim. We will hear some different cab sims, including the built-in ones, towards the end of the video, but I'm mostly just going to roll with my favorite greenback impulse. We're going to start with amp model number 1, which is like a Fender Deluxe, and neck pickup tapped on my PRS, we get this. We have some grit happening there. You can see the controls on here are really straightforward. Gain, 3-band EQ, and level. You know, on that bridge pickup tone, that's starting to get some nice bite in there, but I wouldn't mind some more mid-range out of there. So let's hear that. If I switch to Humbucker Mode, and if I go back to that neck tapped mode and I use my volume control, I get this. So the volume cleanup is okay. It's not the greatest I've ever heard, but it's totally fine. I think if you're using something like this, it's probably just going to be a plug and play application anyway. Let's hear the second model, which is their take on an AC30 style thing. I'm just going to bring the gain down, and again, we'll just kind of noodle around with it, same IR. That's a decent kind of low gain crunch there. I say low gain, that's high gain for some people. As always, it's low gain for me. Let's hear that with the bridge humbucker and even more gain. That I really like right there. Mids pushed, gain pushed on there. With the cab sim, you know, you can use the high cut and the low cut to do what you would normally do with those things. Like, if I wanted to kind of darken this a bit, I'll bring the high cut up and I'll kind of take a little bit of boom out with the low cut control there. Pretty subtle up until the point where you really start to hear them. So you can see I only bump the low cut a little bit. I'll give you an example of why I did that. Pretty cool. You can hear there's kind of like a sharp cutoff where you go from like boom to too skinny right there. But yeah, this is kind of, you know, not a bad little Brian May in a box so far. Let's go to the next mode, which is called Coral Reef. I don't really know what this is based on, so let's just use our ears. It's a wonderful smooth high gain right there. I want some delay on this sort of tone, so let's just start with mode 1. There's these 2 tweak controls on the delay. I'm going to turn them all the way down. Excuse my really creaky chair. Where do we want the mix? Somewhere around there. Time, that will do. You can see a little LED indicator to kind of indicate the time on there. And feedback, it'll probably be good. If I don't like it, I'll tweak the knob and I'll get something different. Not a bad sounding little delay. Let's just fix this part of the signal for now and play around with the delay. So there's these 2 tweak controls. What does tweak 1 do? Kind of sounds like it's taken out a bunch of high end there, and then tweak 2. The mod's quite nice. What I think is weird with this is that the tweak 1 knob, it's clearly meant to be a high pass filter, but it's high pass filtering my dry sound as well, which means I'm gonna leave that one there for that kind of mode. We'll leave the little delay for now and come back to it. Let's hear another preamp mode. The next one, Plex 50, you can guess what this is gonna do. I'm gonna turn all the EQ controls up, and then I'll just kind of tweak the gain down, and let's have some fun. We got a tone happening there. The next one, it's basically going to be a Friedman BE100 on here. So. Favorite mode so far, that one. That feels pretty good. Feels a lot better than an $80 preamp pedal should feel. The next one is their kind of Boogie Mark series emulation. Let's just flick the delay off for now, and let's see what happens. Let's bring the mid-range down and the bass down. I'm gonna crank the gain up because why not? Let's just have a listen to what we've got. I still prefer the Friedman. The last one is apparently like a 5150 style model, so let's hear it. Ooh, that's good too. That one, you can hear that really cool pushed mid-range thing happening there. It's probably a toss-up between that and the Friedman model, for my money anyway. We should hear this with a different impulse response. I've loaded my favorite V30 IR into the second cab slot over here. I'll just kind of bring the overall level down a little bit on this because these IRs aren't normalized. So this is a V30 impulse now. That's obscene. That is obscene. Absolutely obscene. There's so much gain on there. The mids are really nice. It feels good, even though I'm running a preamp pedal into a cab, into a delay. Yeah. Worth the price of entry? Probably. Probably worth the price of entry. I could see these two just working as a kind of gig bag ready backup for anybody in any situation. If you're using another modeler, if you just want some kind of pedals to stick on your board as a direct solution, there's probably something in here that you will like, whether it's those cleaner tones at the start or whether it's these high gain tones. I think these compare really well to like the other things out there that kind of do what they do by various different brands. And they're so cheap as well. Like the preamp pedal, big time winner. We haven't really played around with the delay much, so let's check out mode number 2 on the delay. My big criticism of the delay is on mode 1, that high pass filter thing. That's kind of inexcusable. Like, you shouldn't be messing with the dry tone like that, just to high pass your repeats. Bit of a buzzkill, but hopefully none of the other modes do that. So let's check out mode 2. I'll turn these 2 tweaks down. Where do we have stuff? We have stuff here. Interesting, that's really modulated sounding. What happens if I turn that up? That's fun, that's kind of filtered and nasty. What if I turn this up? That is really wacky. What about mode 3? That's like a weird time stretch, almost kind of granular thing. Let's turn these tweak controls up. What do we get? That's wild. That is so unexpected and wild. This is really cool. I wasn't expecting that out of a delay like this. What happens if I turn the time down on this one? Yeah. Wicked. I like that. Give me the 4th mode. That one sounds a little more vanilla to me. Let's turn these 2 tweaks all the way down. Just a kind of nice stereo delay. What about mode 5? Ooh, that's kind of cool and glitchy as well. I can see the things I like about this pedal are going to be the glitch ones. That's almost like a cross between a normal delay and a reverse delay. Again, kind of like granular-ish. That's some kind of bit crush thing. Mode 7 is the looper, which loops things. I don't have this on the floor, so I'm not confident that I can trigger it correctly. But let's do this. Let's go back to one of these kind of clean modes on here. What was it? Mode 3? And I hope you enjoyed that little kind of make a bunch of noise with delay modes thing on there. So to summarize, preamp's pretty killer. The cab IR loader, even though we didn't explore many of the built-in cabs or the stereo function on there, does what it says on the tin, and it's one of the cheapest cab IR loaders going around there. Plus it's stereo, plus you can load your own IRs. Like, I'm gonna load one IR into this and leave it as a kind of set and forget thing anyway, and I'm sure a bunch of you are gonna do that anyway. The delay is interesting. There's some fun modes in there. There's some features in there which I think aren't implemented very well, like that high pass filter on mode 1. I think mode 1 would be just a killer little modulated delay on its own if it didn't do that thing with tweak 1. That's something that I have seen on some delay pedals before, and I don't know, it doesn't make much sense to me. Like, it's just kind of totally destroying your dry tone there. Probably speaks to the way the delay algorithm is implemented, but those weird modes on there are really, really weird. If you just want like a weird glitchy delay pedal and you don't want to shell out like, you know, hundreds of dollars for the really, really cool hip delay pedals out there, this will do some super weird stuff, and you could kind of put it on your board as a cheap noise machine. I could definitely see that as a use case there. So anyway, that's what's going on with these Flamma pedals. Let me know what you all thought in the video description. I would love to hear from all of you. Which out of the tones did you enjoy? Would you be looking at getting any of these particular pedals for particular purposes? Or does this just kind of look like stuff that, yeah, it's cheap, and, you know, buying stuff is cool and buying cheap stuff is cool if it kind of sounds good, but realistically it's just fueling more gas? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, there are links to my Patreon and the music I make in the video description. Have a great day. I'll see you all next time.